Am I the asshole for pulling into a parking lot and making my brother wait for 15 minutes after he lied to me? I, 20F, have a younger brother, 17 male, who's a student. His school starts at 8 a.m. but he wants to get there by 7:30, preferably even sooner because she likes to hang out with his friends in front of the school before school starts. Because of Rona, my parents don't want my brother to take the packed bus to school, so they drive him themselves. Since my brother also wants to arrive at school extremely early, my parents also have wake up way earlier so my brother can get his way. My parents and my brother usually leave the house at 7:10 a.m. so my brother can arrive to school when he wants to. At some point my parents got fed up and refused to wake up earlier so my brother can meet his friends before school. My brother got really pissed. Then my brother got a girlfriend. Sometimes my parents take a detour to also pick the girlfriend up, but that results in them arriving at school only about 10 minutes before school starts. Because of the detour they also have to leave the house at 7:10 a.m. like they usually would if my brother got his way. Since my parents like my brother's girlfriend, they do her this favor. My brother's girlfriend doesn't always have to be at school by 8 a.m. Sometimes she can get there later because of her schedule. If she has to be at school later than my brother, we obviously don't give her a ride. Now, for the past couple of weeks my brother started lying to my parents so he can get to school earlier. He basically says that they also have to pick up his girlfriend, and halfway to school he says that they actually don't have to pick her up. Then my parents arrive at school at 7:30 a.m., just like my brother wants to, so he can meet his friends. For the past week I have been driving my brother to school because of my parents' work schedules. We also picked his girlfriend up a couple times, but yesterday my brother pulled what he had been pulling with my parents for over a month now. Halfway through our ride to school he said we don't actually have to pick up his girlfriend. I got pissed and pulled into the next supermarket parking lot, where my brother started yelling at me. I just sat there playing on my phone for 15 minutes, then I drove him to school and dropped him off 10 minutes before school starts. When my brother got home from school he started to complain about me and insult me to my parents. My mom says what I did was just what my brother needed, but my dad says I overreacted, so now I'm unsure. So was I overreacting? Am I the asshole for pulling into the parking lot and wait for 15 minutes after my brother lied to me? Not the asshole, you're a fucking legend. He's definitely the asshole for lying to you and your parents, though he deserved it. Not the asshole. The more I read of these issues, mainly involving school-aged children, I just think again and again how terrible some parents are at setting boundaries on their children's behavior. Blame your parents for this stuff, not your brother. He's a product of their poor behavior. Not the asshole. If it had been the first or second time that had happened I would have said differently. But that many times there's no way he's being honest. Not the asshole. Your brother had been lying to you and your parents, making you adjust your plans to fit his own even though he didn't need it. If you had let the problem go, who knows what he would have felt comfortable lying about next. Not the asshole. Your brother manipulated you guys to cater to his schedule. It's one thing to ask to get dropped off early and another to be lied to about it. Also, you guys don't have to pick up his girlfriend but do so sometimes anyways, and that's rad. He's acting entitled and needed to be taken down a peg. And you still took him to school with enough time to get to class. Not the asshole. You're doing your brother a favor. He's 17, not 7. Surely by now he should have learned that lying just to get your own way has consequences. Info. How does your father plan on training his child not to lie and manipulate people, and to be a genuine and grateful human being? Not the asshole. Your brother could have asked you nicely to give him a ride earlier, instead he chose to lie and thinks that's okay? He has no respect for your time and needed a lesson. Unpopular opinion, but I don't understand why it's a problem to get him there 30 minutes earlier than when the school starts. It's 30 minutes, not 2 hours, and 7:30 is not extremely early. That being said, his reaction to not getting his way is manipulative and wrong. Not the asshole. I rarely took the school bus when I was in high school due to an older brother and then my grandpa when my brother graduated. My school started at 7, so you can imagine how tired people are. I would never just change plans early morning to meet friends. If I didn't see my friends before homeroom, I'll see them later in the day. Your brother sounds like he was babied a bit. Also, he's 17. Does not have a driver license yet? All of this over 20 minutes. What's the big deal? What's the problem with him hanging out with his friends for a few minutes before school? If a teenage boy is getting up early for it, it's obviously important to him. I really don't understand what the big deal is. The thing is, why doesn't he meet his friends after school or SMTH? I think he might be very lonely during COVID and he probably just wants to spend more time with his friends. But finding a solution that fills everyone's needs is important. He can't just lie to everyone. Yeah, he shouldn't have lied, but come on. He shouldn't have to lie, just take him early like he wants. Soon he'll be graduating and he won't get to see his friends every day. He only has this time with them for so long. Let him enjoy his high school years. The entire family is against the kid for wanting to be at school early to socialize and be with his friends? The fuck kind of crusade is that? Brother is an asshole for lying, but what else is he supposed to do? All of his friends are hanging out before school and he's missing out. That sucks, especially as a teenager. The FOMO is probably killing him, and whether or not he's a jerk, waking up 15 to 20 minutes earlier to take him to school anyway is not, waking up way earlier. And the parents won't let him take the bus so he doesn't have another option. Honestly, this whole family dynamic seems really vindictive. I'm with your mum on this one. Exactly what was needed. You didn't overdo it at all. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Dad needs to start waking up early again if the thinks you overreacted. Going to get downvoted to hell if anyone even sees this, but you are the asshole. Your brother actually wants to go to school and his family is actively working against his wishes because it's mildly inconvenient. Seriously? Of course your brother is being manipulative. He's a powerless child surrounded by powerful adults who refuse to listen to him, or even compromise. Being manipulative is all he has left. If you want to discourage manipulative behavior, you do so by showing him that open communication will work, something your family has not done. You don't show him by being an even bigger ass. Everyone sucks here. Your family is up in arms about 20 to 30 minutes. Maybe I'm more of a morning person than I thought because it would not bother me even a tiny bit to get up a little earlier for a person I love. That said, lying isn't cool either, but I'm thinking it must suck to know that even your parents aren't cool with waking up a few minutes early for you. Just let the kid take the bus. He can get there based on when he wants to get up. Seems to me that his parents are imposing a rule on him and then whining about the work it creates. He's going to in-person school. What difference does the ride make? Parents are the assholes. Op is a bit of an asshole. You weren't social at 17? Kids asking for a few minutes. True, sounds like he's resorting to lies and manipulation to get those few minutes, but seems like sleep is more important to his family than he is. Assholes all around. It's not like he's asking you to get up at 4 a.m. Not the asshole. As long as you get him there on time, he has no right to dictate when you leave the house. Not the asshole. I get this strong feeling that your brother was coddled a little bit by your dad. Not the asshole. He needs to learn the world doesn't revolve around him and he isn't always gonna get what he wants. Lying and scheming is a surefire way to fuck that up. I'm unclear. What's the problem with him arriving early to school? Why won't you, your parents, take him in then? They don't want to get up early? WTF. Am I the only one who thinks you and your parents are assholes? It's a teenage kid who's been deprived of his friends, all that matters to him, and normalcy for months. Is it really that hard to wake up 15 to 20 minutes earlier? You are the asshole and all are your parents. This may be unpopular, but I'm gonna go with your brother for lying about picking up the girlfriend, obviously. But it feels like everyone is making a huge deal out of 20 minutes or so. He wants to get to school early to hang out with friends. There are definitely worse things he could be doing with his time. All you have to do is throw on sweats and drive. Him starting off the school day on a positive note is a good way to get into a good mentality for the rest of his day. Doesn't seem like he's asking a lot there. He definitely shouldn't be lying to get to that point, of course. Info: how often does he get to hang out with his friends outside of school? If he's busy with extracurriculars or your parents are strict about going out, I can see how he'd feel like this is the only way he gets to see his friends. I was your brother back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I had a school that started at 8 a.m. and wanted to be there super early too. In my case it was finish homework. Know what my parents did? They gave me a bus pass and told me to take the city bus if the school bus wouldn't suit me. Time for your parents to buy your brother a transit pass or a bicycle. Heck, he has 2 feet. Get him a map of the city's walking paths so he can plan out his route. Or maybe one of his buddies that he wants to meet up with drives. He is 17 years old. This is one situation he needs to figure out on his own. Coddling ends at 18 and he's almost there. Not the asshole, but I'm not going to say your brother is either. No, he shouldn't be lying, but when I was in high school getting to school early was a big thing as well. Especially with COVID messing up any kind of social events, he may thrive on this little bit of interaction, especially if he's not allowed to socialize on the bus. Yeah, no one loves getting up early, but is 15 minutes a day really that big of a deal in the grand scheme? Being so isolated is hard on everyone's mental health these days. NTA, just give him a bike or something. He can make his own schedule. Your brother sucks because he probably thinks his little white lies are no harm no foul. But he's in high school, so his maturity level seems par for the course. I think you and your parents are justifiably annoyed about his lying, but you all still suck for making a stink over what seems to be an extra half hour of sleep. I don't understand everyone congratulating you as if you did something amazing. You responded to his teenage antics by acting like a child yourself. It sounds like you think you're teaching him a lesson, but you come off as an asshole yourself. You all should re-evaluate why this seems to be an issue with your family. Is it the lying? Find a better way to teach the lesson that it's not cool. Is it waking up early? Go to bed earlier. Petty revenge. Is there that big of a difference between being at school all day around all these different kids, teachers, faculty, and being on the bus for half an hour? Not the asshole, but am I the only one who thinks this kid is probably doing all this to smoke weed and or cigarettes before school? This is some shit I and a lot of other kids I knew would have pulled to be able to smoke before school started. What 17-year-old wants to wake up early just to stand around for an extra 10 to 15 minutes before school starts? At his age I would have killed for an extra 15 minutes to sleep in every morning. Another blatantly obvious case where 99.9% of people are going to say not the asshole. Absolute waste of time. This sub. Info. Why can't he drive himself? I want to know what school district is packing kids on buses. Most districts I know of have very limited or no bus service this year. I used to arrive early to make sure I had my assignments done and mentally prepare for the day. Too bad I was diagnosed till after graduating. Info. How far away is the school anyway? Why can't he cycle? Not the asshole. You were right to teach him a lesson. Besides, no harm was done, so I wouldn't feel bad about it. Not the asshole sounds like dad needs to be taking him in a few more times to prevent you overreacting again, haha. Yay. He's already going to school in person. A bus ride won't make a difference. Let him take the bus. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You aren't a chauffeur service and your brother needs to learn that lying and manipulating you isn't going to work, or that behavior will continue. You responded to a lie by ensuring the end result was the same as if he didn't lie. If your dad thinks it's an overreaction, maybe he should be the one waking up early and being lied to. I think the worst part is that he doesn't see the issue with what your brother is doing. Your parents should have reacted this way long before you had to. Man, this is the best problem you could have. Kids get into so much trouble these days, and the fact that he wants to hang out before school and not skip class, please just encourage him. My brother got involved with a bad crowd, and if I could have prevented it I would have done anything. The effects that crowd had on his life are devastating. Not the asshole, but the real assholes here are your parents. They took away every chance your brother had at getting to school when he wanted to. They forbade him from taking the bus and then wouldn't drive him off at the same time the bus did. They completely fucked with his schedule. Since my parents like my brother's girlfriend, they do her this favor. So they wake up early for her but aren't willing to extend the same courtesy to your brother? I think all four of you are just as bad as each other. Your brother was really a huge asshole for lying just to get his way, but I think it's also an issue that he's not being allowed to take the bus. Unless your country is really, really bad, there should already be enough measures in place to not make riding the bus that dangerous even in these times, and it's clear that it is very important to him to be at school earlier. He shouldn't have done what he did, but I can empathize with him, as it was his only alternative to keep his routine alive. I'm assuming he doesn't drive. Not the asshole, provisionally. Info, how do you know he's lying about this? Is it possible he's working on the assumption that his girlfriend needs a ride and not hearing until you've started out that she doesn't? Does he realize what a pain he's being? Basically, could he be thoughtless rather than dishonest? Not the asshole. Your parents are idiots though. They don't want him to take a packed bus but encourage him to hang out with others. Completely illogical. In what universe is the child more interested in walking up early than the parents are? Not the asshole. Your brother was being manipulative, you called him on it, showed him the consequences of his actions, and now hopefully he will learn something from it. Congrats, you just lowered yourself to the maturity level of a 17-year-old. Esh.